Hi. So, I am trying to. Okay, so hold on. There's a military base over there, and I decided that the best way to keep people out of the military base is to make them swim for it. But the water is pretty dang. You know, it's like 12 feet. So, well, actually, I think it's 10 feet, but whatever. Close enough. So we are also keeping with the aesthetic that the setup that we started earlier. I don't know why, but I found out that a lot of my viewers are adults, or most of them are, and all of a sudden I started using, bigger words. But like I said, just in case you don't know what that word means or think you know what it means and you're not really sure, I'm going to explain anyway, just in case there is a kid watching. Because I'm always thinking that, if kids are watching, they might want to impress the heck out of their teacher by, saying aesthetic instead of setup. And, yeah, you know, might help them in the long run. Okay, so anyway, it looks pretty good so far, too. Um, gonna show you in just a moment. Okay, so this is the road that leads to the movie theater, which still has dirt in it. That will be one of our projects today. Pretty sure anyway. Um, okay, so there is some kind of gardening equipment, um, lawnmower or a weed whacker. Oh, looks like a weed whacker. Okay. Um, his it's weird because I just looked at his weed whacker. It looks like that thing that they make the lines for on the football field. Um, where they like paint the grass. Anyway, it looks like that. What the heck? The internet froze up. That's what. There. Okay. Um, Twitch wasn't counting, so. I still have not checked to see if I can, do this with, YouTube as well. I was about to say whatchamacallit, but then I remembered, so thank God. I think they'd be pretty upset at me. I've been posting with them since 2016, 2017, something like that. Yeah, I was seeing a whole bunch of Disney videos, and I'm like, my video shows more stuff than that. And it's clearer too. And so I started posting my videos from 1986, and except for that, somebody was trying to argue with me that it had to be 1987. Yeah, it's been good. Those videos are actually the ones that have the most views. You might also hear my husband in the background. He's playing Farm Sim. Um, Farm Sim 25. And he's also talking to his stream. So, um, but I am also editing a book. So, well, I was until I needed to turn Twitch on. So I guess that's out for now. But yeah, I Okay, I am pretty proud of myself, and I don't mean pride comes before a fall kind of proud, just, I'm happy with myself. I got chapter 19 done. Granted, it was only like a page and a half, or 2 pages, something like that. But anyway, it wasn't very long. Um, but still, I got it done. And, I got chapter 20 done, and hopefully I will get, uh, well, if I'm not going to be able to edit my book because that is blocking, yeah, I'll just go and open that up. I don't like doing that though. While we're at the beginning of the video, please go on Amazon after the stream and check out my books. I wrote them, I edited them, I put my heart and soul in them, and some tears, mostly because, computer programs were not working. But, yeah, I put all that stuff into my books, and I think they're pretty dang awesome. I'll explain in a minute. Okay, so now there's another one. That's probably the lawnmower. Um, so he's got the weed whacker, and he walks up, he sees our doors open, and, he doesn't know what we're doing, but, I was definitely talking, so he goes and stops. He gets to the point where he can't see us anymore, and that's when he starts making the loud noise again. But at least he tried. Okay, yeah, so I plan to, take the next block of houses that isn't the right color and doesn't have the pathway and all that. I want to do the next set of that at the very least on this stream, because I keep saying that that's what we're going to do, and then it doesn't get done. So I want to do that today. I wanted to finish editing my editing the next piece of story because I think that's where I left off. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I got to, and then I was like, you know what, I really need to go back and fix this and fix that, because I didn't like the way it was written, right? So I went back and I fixed it, but then the problem was that I had to go and get back to the spot that I was at, and I'm back to the beginning of the sorry. I'm back to the beginning of the part that I was at. Well, actually, I think I got further than that even, because I was on like page 80 something. But I just barely got to page 51. So I'm pretty, I'm pretty happy. I got back to page 51 at 80, so that leaves 30 pages left to get back to page 80. Like I said, I think there's, I think it was 80 something. So if I can get this done, more of my book done, and the litter boxes today, I will be pretty happy. It may be Minecraft Monday in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in making in making content, but it's Kitty Litter Box Day in reality because tomorrow they pick up the garbage tomorrow, so we put it out today, of course, and it's all good. Okay. I am sorry that uh you know I didn't choose their schedule. Anyway, yeah, I didn't choose their schedule. I chose mine, and it just happens to coincide on Mondays. So we've gotten back to the point where it's the drinking contest. Um, Sean kind of, well, I guess he did. Not kind of, no kind of about it. He definitely did. Sean challenged Morgan to a drinking contest because that's something that she's really good at. So if she can, oh, okay, I got distracted for a second there. If he can beat her at that, then he can win his right to date Ashley. Stupid idea, but my husband said drinking is a piratey thing to do. Famous quote from Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack Sparrow. Why is the rum gone? So, but, like, I wasn't going to have them drink or smoke because I don't do that. There is only one person who smokes in my whole entire book so far, and he's a bad guy. I figure bad guys can do it. But I really don't like the idea. What? Oh, okay. I didn't think I'd been on here that long. Wow. Okay, so, still trying to catch up on YouTube videos, and of course, more keep getting added every day. But anyway, I'm trying to catch up on YouTube videos, and one of the things that, one of the videos that was there is, I guess it was a stream, because he was talking to, the people that were watching him, from FWIP, and then, and that one was like 53 minutes and something seconds or something like that. Let me double check. Actually, I have no idea. Oh, 57 minutes and 38 seconds. And I didn't realize that that's what it had done. It moved on to the next video. And I'm like, what the heck? Is he on, is he on a break and he'll be back or what? Because usually he just leaves it running when he does that. And no, it ended. I didn't think I'd been on there for 57 minutes and something seconds. Yeah, and I've been up since a little before 5. Because it was like 5 when I came back down the stairs. I had to go upstairs for, going upstairs purposes. And then I came back down. And I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. What the heck is she calling at 5 o'clock for? Well, it turns out that um, my sister-in-law had poked my husband on Facebook. I've got 3 sister-in-laws, but this is the one that lives in Alaska. Anyway, um, anyway, yeah, and then he comes by with that loud. Okay. Anyway, she had poked him on. So what should I call her, sister-in-law or? Yeah, but I mean, for for streaming purposes, should I call her that or should I call her by her first name? Yeah, okay, we'll just call her sister-in-law. Um, Wait, no. Yeah, I've got 3 sister-in-laws. Yeah. Okay, so one of the videos that I'll tell you about sister-in-law in a minute. One of the videos that came up is by Waddles, and Waddles is a loud person. Like he would. Well, it's like between him and Unspeakable, who's louder, and Preston. Since we're playing Minecraft, since we're playing Minecraft, we'll use Minecraft examples. Anyway, he's pretty dang loud. So you know that your lawnmower is hugely loud when you cannot hear Waddles. I'm just saying. Okay, so what I was saying about sister-in-law is that that she poked my husband on Facebook at some point in time, so he was awake at that time for some reason. Why were you awake at 4 o'clock in the morning? Okay, he had insomnia, which happens a lot, unfortunately. We still gotta figure out where we want the... I think I don't want it on the side here. Putting it on the side here wasn't working. So I think I'll put it in the direct middle. I'll figure out where the middle is and put it there. And then we'll just have to figure this out accordingly. Yeah, we'll just have to figure that out. Anyway, we just generically went out that way somewhere. Okay, so there's going to be the military base. And then, depending on how many blocks we need, I think I'll have 100. And then I will have the submarine sandwich shop and the Panda Express size Chinese food restaurant. It's supposed to be the same Chinese food restaurant from the next town over, only it's supposed to be the same Chinese food restaurant, yet but smaller. And the wording is that they branched out. So like how Starbucks was, I want to say, only in Seattle.
It's called a franchise.
Hold on. It's like, wait, it's like, they were just in Seattle, and then, like, all of a sudden there was one on, like, every single corner in Seattle, and then they they, went out into the other states, branched out. So, you know, not the best wording for that example, but just say, just saying that that's an example of, branched out. When I come up with stuff like that, I always think of, in school one time they asked us to explain how to do something that people normally think is, you know, they just do it automatically. Like make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I figured that was going to be really easy to explain. And, I've got an author's mind. So, it's, writer's mind. So, it'd be totally easy. It wasn't as easy as I thought. That is 1 hour. No, 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 no. Sorry, I spoke. Yeah. So, my sister was telling me that it would have been 6 a.m. in Alaska, and I'm like, no, you're going. I didn't say it that way, but she was going the wrong way. It was 4 o'clock when my sister-in-law called, because it would have been 4 o'clock in Alaska, 5 o'clock in Nevada, Colorado-ish, somewhere in there. Maybe Nebraska instead of Colorado, but would have been 6 a.m. and New York would have been 8 a.m. when it was 5 here. So, wow, she called at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, she was worried that the reason why he pressed the poke button because he's like never on Facebook. I mean, it's not even like never on Facebook. He's never on Facebook. But she had pressed the poke button at one point and he pressed it. So anyway, she was worried that like something was going on with my in-laws, and no, nothing. Just you poked me, so I poked you, kind of thing. um. Oh, thank God. Okay, so I was worried that my um okay, so my sister had to move recently, and I was worried that they were the only ones moving their stuff. It turns out that they have some friends that are helping them. So I was saying, oh, thank God about that, because I know that we've had so many times when we had to move, and we really don't want to do that ever again. So we really need some money in the house. That's part of the reason why I keep asking people to subscribe, follow me on Twitch, chat. Well, chatting's because I don't have anybody to talk to most of the time. I mean, it's not just a let's get the goals done on Twitch thing. I am genuinely wanting to talk to somebody, because up until recently there was really nobody to talk to in the house except for Sam, and Sam doesn't say much. He can say hi and hello, and it was really funny because we'd say hi and he'd say hello, and then I'd say hello and he'd say hi, and we figured out that we had done that to him. He thought that that's what you're supposed to do, because he'd say hello and we'd say hi. So he just figured, yeah, we'll just interchange it, fine. Yeah, it was normal to him. So anyway, um so I would love to um chat with anybody that is watching my stream or my video. And if we don't have to talk about Minecraft, we could talk about what you had for breakfast this morning. We could talk about recipes. Speaking of recipes, I kind of screwed my recipe up last night. Just kind of. Um, I think I put a mite too many bacon bits in it. Seriously, personally, I think I put a mite too many bacon bits in it. Um, but it's really good. So we go and take the um rice-a-roni the chicken rice-a-roni. That's what I was trying to say. I go and take the chicken rice-a-roni and make that up until you until you put the water in it. Um, I mean, you put the water in it. You just follow the instructions until it says put in the water. You put in the water, and you add frozen vegetables of your choice. I think it tastes better with the one that has the corn, carrots, and green beans. We finally gotten used to eating green beans, but the vegetables that we got more recently are the one that is just peas and carrots. But you can put in whatever frozen vegetables you want. You can even put in the big ones if you want. But we didn't think they tasted as good, and they definitely weren't bite size. But what are you gonna do? Go and take every single piece out and cut it up before it's thawed? It's not gonna work that way. But anyway, so we put the frozen vegetables in the pan to mix that up, and we add olives and baby corn. I would, to do this, I was just doing an experiment. I really was. I was just like, okay, what do we have in the house? I'm like, okay, we got rice, and we've got, baby corn and olives. Um, well, actually, I think the first time I made it, we didn't have baby corn. I added that later. It just sounded good. Um, but anyway, I was like, okay, we got olives. Let's go and toss that in there. And we had some frozen vegetables and so it makes a nice little meal. And more recently, like I said, I added the baby corn and the bacon bits, and it's so good. My husband keeps saying that it needs something like a sauce, but I can't. I end up gagging on certain sauces, so it wouldn't work for me. I mean, he could try it, but it wouldn't work for me. And or like he suggested cheese one time, but I don't know how I would do that either. Cause because I eat one cheese and he eats another cheese. I eat the non-dairy just in case, and because dairy was upsetting my stomach for a while there. But it could have been something else. I don't know. But I was kind of thinking if this whole, I got my gallbladder removed. Um, I was wondering if, like, they had noticed that a lot sooner. Would I have had all these issues that, like, I shouldn't have certain wheat. Like, I can have the bun at that's the weird thing. I can have the bun at In-N-Out. I can have the bun at Burger King, but I tried to have if I try to eat the bun at Costco for the hot dogs, my stomach gets upset. I don't know what the difference is. Like maybe they're, like with fries, that they've got the fast food fries, and then they've got the regular fries, and then they got home fries. Maybe it's like fast food bun versus home bun. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I just know that it's really annoying. And I was super disappointed because I cannot eat at Chick-fil-A here because it's too greasy. Normally, Chick-fil-A is not greasy, so I don't understand what's going on there. Wow. Okay, so my sister finally did, finally looked it up. exactly, and went 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, anyway, she looked it up exactly and found out I was right. But she also found out that in Japan it would have been 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Because I'm recording this on September 1st. It would have been September 2nd in Japan. So that's pretty cool. That'd be like totally confusing for me though. Like, you know, say booking Tokyo Disney in, I mean, like on the 5th through the 8th or something like that. And, having to remember that I've got to leave on the 3rd here. So not leave on the 3rd here. Leave on the, 2nd here. So I can get there. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, but by the time I get there, it would be, the 4th. So yeah, I guess I could leave on the 3rd. I don't know. I'm very confused. Okay. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Yeah, so I've literally been up since just before 5 o'clock in the morning. I should be hungry, and my stomach's like, you're not going to feed me until 11 anyway. I do have corn chips just in case. I don't want to have to eat the corn chips in your ear, but I do have them. Yeah, I'm in mode. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like. This is actually what it's supposed to look like. On both sides. And I was thinking, okay, first of all, Irish roads are not actually just straight like this. They're curvy, like a mountain road. And I only know that from, looking at Google Maps and maps on FarmSim. And, even watching TV shows like Murder, She Wrote. Oh, 9 p.m. It would have been 9 p.m. today. So, wow. It's like that much of a difference. But I still, I would like to go to, I would like to go to the other Disneyland parks, but, I want to go to Disneyland first. Okay, I think what we need to do, well, okay, so what we need to do after this is put in some more driveways and stuff. The pathway from the house to the sidewalk. So she said it was 38 minutes after midnight in Japan right now. And I'm like, I was gonna put wow, and then I was like, no, that just sounds like I'm not interested. So I'm like, they're sleeping. Oh, I did it again. What the heck? Yeah, that's why if you heard me mid sentence and all of a sudden cut off, because the machine was being too loud outside. Okay, so yeah, let's go do that. I'm gonna know what I'm doing over here. So see, I didn't want to ruin the aesthetic. It goes this way, it looks really neat. I like it. Well, then there's this little island that is the military base. Um, we're gonna go get this magic snowball and put that in. Um, like I said, we've got these all set. Oh, this is a street without the sidewalk. That is so distracting. And you don't know if they're going to be there on Monday or if they're going to. I mean, usually they are, but you don't know what time they're going to be. So, my sister said, change the subject. I am so tired of moving. I didn't know what to say, so I just, pretended that I meant that they're tired of. I mean, that she's tired of moving the stuff, and I put, but it'll be better when it's done. I really didn't know what to say. Um, right now, I'm hoping to God that we don't lose our house, because that would be bad. If unemployment would just come through, that would help. Because there's like a little known rule that, okay, say you can't pay your rent because, you don't get paid until Thursday and it's due on Sunday, If you pay even a little bit of that, they are not supposed to be able to kick you out. I don't know how true that is, but I'm pretty sure it is. And then, you pay them the rest of it with the late fee, of course. And, you're supposed to be able to keep whatever place it is. That works for apartments. I don't know if that works for mortgages. But we specifically talked to the people, and they said if we didn't get paid by my husband's unemployment, by the 1st, that, come back in and, hopefully they can do something. Anyway, Yeah, we're gonna start over on that first street and putting in the um putting in the driveways and stuff. Thing is that we gotta find we gotta find that house that doesn't have it. Okay. Anyway, this is looking a lot better than my other one. I mean, except for that my other one has a lot more of the build done. Um, it's looking a lot better. I almost think that they picked 8 a.m. on purpose to mess with my stream. Oh, that was another thing sister-in-law did. He, she's sending a bunch of links to some jobs that maybe my husband can do from home. So, like, he'd still be here, but he'd be able to uh, work from home. He's definitely going to have to open up um, like, if he was going to work from home, he'd probably end up working from the kitty bedroom. And yes, I said the kitty bedroom. Our cats have their own bedroom. All three of them are allowed to go in there, but only the two boys go in. And I think it's really cool because Coral had a favorite spot under the table that the boys would not bug her in. She always slept with her head toward uh, toward the front door the door of the bedroom, in case her brothers did want to come and bug her. But other than that, that was her little sanctuary. Well, her little happy spot. So Ben has taken over that happy spot, now that Coral's not there. Maybe he thinks it's like the oldest kitty's right to have that spot. I don't know. I actually have no idea why he decided that that spot was his, but that's the way it works. So anyway, Sam has suddenly decided to play with this horsey toy that Coral used to like a lot. It's like it's almost like she's still here with them. So it's kind of cool. Actually, it's really cool because I didn't think that they cared after she went, and then it was like, oh, she's definitely not coming back. Okay. They decided to latch on to stuff that belongs to her. So compared to the house, the apartment that they're now living in, my sister, um, the apartment that they're now living in is tiny. She says it's not good. Um, especially since I could totally see. I could totally see my brother-in-law and my niece trying to go into the living room at the same time, and there being a a crash or something, and then he starts yelling. Yeah, I can see that happening, but I hope it doesn't. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to, because they finally went away. Because, I wouldn't mind him being on my stream. And he probably wouldn't mind it either. But I don't know if I ever actually got. I need to, like, start writing this stuff down, actually ask the person, if I would just happen to be watching your stream while I'm streaming, do you mind if, your video or by the time I watch it, it's usually a video. Your video or stream is on mine. And Sarah said, "Go ahead." He's happy with that. But as long as he gets recognized, and every single time I'm like, I'm still sensitive about that, but um, you know, like, should I? I don't know. But he said it was perfectly fine. And I felt weird asking people that, but it's like, I don't mind them being on my stream. I just don't want to get in trouble for it. Because I've had so many times when I was accused of having certain music on my stream, which is why my Minecraft does not have music. Um, but I've been accused of having, this song on my stream and that song on my stream, and it's like, no, I didn't. I had the music from the game. So she made sure that the pictures and the important stuff made it to the apartment. So I was like, good. Keep them safe. Because we don't have any of our pictures. They were all in storage. And because it's somebody, not saying it's specific somebody, just somebody, I thought we had brought, certain things to the house. And apparently we had not. So, I thought we brought all the books. I thought we brought all the photo albums and my digital Bible and all that. And actually, my digital Bible might have been on top of the washer. I just thought of that. My digital Bible may have been on top of the washer. But I thought we had it here. I'm almost sure we had it here. I don't know. Because I specifically remember looking at it going, okay, I'll um I'll listen to that later. I'll listen to that later. I'll listen to that later. Later never happened because all of a sudden it disappeared. I want to say, I don't know this, I don't know this for a fact, but I want to say I had it when we went to go to Arizona, but I don't know. And then I remember putting it under the seat, and did we get it back? I don't know. Did we get it back out from under the seat? Obviously, I don't think so. But I don't know what happened. And yeah, it's bugging me. And then now, if you want that same set, it's like two, three, $400, something like that. And just because one half has Alexander Skirby and the other half has James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, if you don't know who that is. Also, Mr. Blind baseball player in The Sandlot. I don't know his official name for the movie, but I don't know his official name for the movie, but he's the one that owned the dog that didn't want to give the baseball back. And he had to have it back because his stepdad's prized possession, oh my goodness. There's so many things on this world that I'm like, okay, so I thought I did that and then I didn't. And I thought I did that and I didn't. And oh, okay, so maybe this is further out than that and I'm not on this part yet. Okay. Confused, but we'll figure it out. So yeah, I want to go and, do a whole bunch of different things in this world today. And it's like, where do I start? Or, what do I do first? I guess that would be where do I start, But I also want to work on my story and... Oh yay, first time chat, and it's somebody trying to sell me viewers. I don't know how much my headset is blocking out and how much you're having to listen to the gardeners outside, but they're distracting the heck out of me. Fun fact for you, in one of my books, Ashley needs a distraction. And she needs something to distract her because she's ugh. She's up, so she ends up going upstairs with Morgan to tell her younger siblings a story. And Sean is locked in his room in solitary confinement. And okay, so he could break down the window, go out, grab Ashley, and run for it. But he wants to be more of a man than that. He's a man, he's not a mouse, so he's going to put up with this garbage that Hayden's doling out to him. And I can't remember which one either. Anyway, I think it was either Sunny or Eve. Adam's the baby of the family. But it's either Sunny or Eve. And she's trying to say distraction, but she says distract shut. And I think it was Chantel corrects distraction, and the little sister goes, "Yeah," what she said, or something like that. Anyway, so we really, 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 really need some money in the house, and I think you would enjoy my books. It, it's like giving a donation and getting something too. That's the way I'm thinking of it at the moment. It's like giving a really good donation to help me out, and then you get something to go with it. Instead of getting a silly ribbon, that says, "Yay, you donated," or a sticker or something like that, you get a book. A really nice book. And as I said, in the future, hopefully the books will be smaller, because right now they're 6 inches from spine to the other end of the book, and from top to bottom they're 9 inches, and I thought that was going to be I thought that was going to be the right size, but actually what it is a bigger book. We noticed that there's a lot of big books in at Walmart right now. It seems to be the in thing to do, making big books, but I just want them to be regular size from back in the 80s and 90s, where like most of the books were the same size. Like the size of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer book, the size of a Nancy Drew book, the white ones that say Nancy Drew Files on them. Um, the size of a lot of the Star Wars books, even. That's the size I want them to be. And if I can, I will like um I will come up with like a second edition or something like that, where it's a different size. Cuz I like that size better. And I did not know this, but Howl's Moving Castle by Diana. Wait, is it Diane or Diana? I don't know. The book just says Jones. Hold on, I will find out. 'Cause I can't remember right now. Anyway, it's on my bookshelf. See, the other one, I could say Issy Hinton. The Outsiders. I know her name. Diana. Wine or Win. Not sure. It's Wynne. Anyway, Jones. I like that book. It's kind of weird though, because like the whole entire time you're reading about Sophie, she's an old lady at that point, and like she's guessing that she's 90 years old or something like that. Because the Witch of the Waste put a spell on her. Well, that's what they think anyway. They find out that Sophie really put the spell on herself. And, they didn't know that she had these magic powers, but she, like, put this spell on herself. So, like, she's going through the whole thing as, I'm pretty sure in the book it says old lady. So I'm not trying to, insult anybody. Just that's how it's written. And anyway, so she was working in her dad's hat shop at the time, and she goes and tells her the Witch of the Waste happened to walk in one day, and she's Sophie's in a bad mood. She's like, um, I'm stuck in this job and I don't want to do this. And actually, I don't know if that's what she said or not. But anyway, she was in a bad mood. So then the Witch of the Waste goes in and tries on a hat, and she says, well, she tries on at least two hats, and Sophie goes, actually, I don't think either one of these flatter you. They, something, I think it was something about you can still see your face and it's not very pretty or something like that. And so the Witch of the Waste goes and, makes the motions like she's going to put a spell on her, but basically, but Sophie put the spell on herself. Anyway, so she starts. I always think of it as a hill. I think that's what it was, but I can't. But I don't exactly remember. I haven't read that one in a long time. I wanted I want the audio version. But it's on audio tape. But I think I can get it um, on MP3 player. Uh, it's called a Playaway, and you can get them at the library. I think I found it there. And if I can get it there, I'm so buying it as soon as we have some money in the house. Because I love that story. I was kind of disappointed that the movie didn't follow the story even better, but it does follow it pretty good. The thing is that she doesn't look like she does not look like an old lady in the movie. She's got gray hair the whole time. And it's like, okay, Japanese anime people, did you read the book? Of course, that's like, that's like saying, seriously. Okay, I liked Charlie and the Chocolate Factory except for Johnny Depp playing Willy Wonka because he got it wrong. I liked Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory except for Gene Wilder because he got it wrong. And there's going to be a whole lot of people trying to argue with me on that one. Gene Wilder was too serious, and Johnny Depp was too standoffish. He came off more gay than he did happy-go-lucky, skipping on every other step, and however that was written. I used to have those books. Otherwise, I would go and find that page that says that and read you exactly what it is. I would be saying, hey, this is, Roald Dahl's book, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, before I said that, but, but I don't have that one right now. Because it was in storage too. I keep thinking that maybe some of our books landed in that closet over there, but, we've looked, and we didn't find any of them. I know there's some tools in there. But yeah, we yeah, we had all kinds of books. Mostly Nancy Drew and Star Wars, but we had all kinds of books. We even had one that was probably written by a fan, but it was the Star Trek Next Generation world meets X-Men. And the problem is that I like to, I write my own books. So then I'm like, I can't read that right now because, I'm trying to write my own book and, my own book gets in the way of everything. So I didn't get to read that one. Well, like I kept picking it up. I was gonna read it, and then I was like, oh, I need to do the letterboxes. I pick it up, and oh, but I need to edit this book today. And I'm trying to get the one that I'm working on right now done before Christmas, so then it'll be a nice little Christmas present for everybody. Um, Obviously, I can't afford to do a giveaway right now, but I would love to do that someday in the future. Okay, I don't know if I was going this way or that way. I was going this way. Okay. Um, yeah, so you notice that all of the. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Um, okay, so you notice that, all of the color. All the color things are there so you can tell what color so you can tell what color it's supposed to be. Well, I wanted to go and I just remembered that. I want to go and take the oak one, figure out which one's the oak one, and do all the oak ones. And then I want to go through and um, do all the spruce ones, and then I want to go and do all the birch ones, and then I want to go do the jungle ones. Yeah, jungle. And then acacia, and then all the, dark wood ones, and, go on down the line. Only thing is that I don't want to do the 2 stories today, so. But I want to get it to where they all have the driveways and they all have the pathways and yeah. So it does sound like the gardeners are either, well, they're not done, but it doesn't. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't sound like they were going to be coming back to this area. But like I said, I could be wrong. Because as soon as I started that sentence, they started getting a little louder and a little louder. And just a bit. Well, anyway, I might start with all the pink ones first. It's one of my favorite colors. But like I said, I don't really feel like doing 2-story houses today. It's a good build. I have to do it eventually, but I just don't feel like it. Like I really, really, really want to work on the next chapter of my book. Because I finally got to something that I know I've done before. Um, no, I think we were supposed to be going the other way. Yeah, I definitely think that we're supposed to be going the other way.
What's going on? I'm reconnected to my own party
You were reconnected to your own party.
again. Yeah.
Okay. We got we got a little bit of internet issues in this place, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going
in
on.
this house.
So if anybody's ever seen my stream, you're seeing it in parts. The video is glitching on them. Do apologize on that.
Just hit refresh on the computer. It'll be
Refresh the
fine.
connection. No matter what device you're on, it'll come back up.
I meant you.
On the computer, on my computer, it's fine.
Oh,
For
okay.
my viewers.
Well, yeah, that's good sound advice that works for them too. Um. Anyway, yeah. So I stream. I don't know why I just thought of this, but I stream every morning from 8 to 11 or noon. It's been noon lately because of Minecraft, but because like yesterday I kept saying I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn it off. I never turned it off. What am I talking about?
Oops. I was doing the instead of mine.
Um, yeah, I mean I did turn it off eventually, but was like an hour later than what I said. So like, why bother saying that I'm gonna turn it off? Anyway,
So you're seeing it rip right through trees. You're also seeing it tear up the stumps.
so we're gonna get this street done. Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna get this street done, and then we're gonna do some houses, I think. Um, and fun fact for you, uh, when Hayden talks, it's oh, I can't think of his name right now. I can't think of his name. It's on my phone. It'll be easier to find it that way.
You guys gotta come up.
Oh, Hayden is Hayden's voice. Because like I said, I audio my books, so I can hear if there's a typo. It will not tell you if there's if you put YOU apostrophe RE and meant to put YOUR. It won't tell you that. You have to like look over and actually read along with this book kind of thing, and find that kind of thing. But if you missed a word, it will miss the word. So it helps me out immensely, a ton. So anyway, uh, Hayden was saying shirt yesterday, and it does not sound like shirt. It sounds like he was, you know, uh, like um, like when people are trying to say the bad S word and they don't want to say the bad S word, so it just kind of or something like that. Anyway, he was saying like that, and I was like, that does not sound okay. That is not, you know, that is not what I want in my audiobook right now. But hopefully one of these days, hopefully one of these days I will figure out if I actually have the license or not, and be able to proceed from there. Because I would love to have the audio version of my book available on there as well, even if I have to, even if I have to publish the audio version with somebody else and then have Amazon sell it or whatever. I don't know how that would work. But anyway, um, it doesn't it doesn't offer me the audio version for publishing on Amazon so far. Um, but I really want to do it, especially since mine's the only thing that mine's missing is like the ambient noises, like the ocean in the background, maybe some seagulls, when they're walking in the forest, something scurrying around, stuff like that. I want, what I'm saying is that I want, uh, which direction were we going? Think this way. Um, anyway, I want the Star Wars book level ambiance. Like when R2's talking on a Star Wars book, you hear a droid talking. When uh like when they're talking about Ewoks, I think there's like noises like leaves. um can't think of the word I cannot think of the word I'm thinking of. uh leaves moving around, and like when there's a lightsaber scene, you hear the lightsabers. I want that level, but right now I do have next level. I just don't have that kind of next level, but that's what I would like. Like they're on the ocean and you can hear that they're on the ocean. Um, Sean's walking toward. I don't know how I would do that, but Sean's walking toward the walking down the stairs into the dining room, and across to where he can sit down on the chair. Um, maybe you hear him walking across the carpet. Uh, I think that would be neat sounds to have. And you're probably like, well, if you're going to go that far, why not just make it a movie? And that's because it is a book. But yeah, I've got like I've got a female voice for Ashley. Um, that voice is named Jessica, and I've got a whole separate voice for Chantel. I can't remember what her name is right now. What is her name? Oh, Ada. I had it Daisy, but I didn't like Daisy's voice that much. It um, I don't know. She kind of sounded whiny or something. There was just something I didn't like about it. It was good for when she was younger, but then I was like, I just really don't like this voice. So, so anyway, I changed it to Ada, and I like Ada a lot better. There's only one problem with some of the voices on Speechlo at the moment, that some of the female voices, I mean, it says Abigail, um, and it sounded more like the It sounded more like a guy. It sound it pretty much sounds a lot like the guy on Deck the Halls. That's the name of the movie. Deck the Halls. Um, Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito. Totally and utterly sounds like the guy that was talking about um okay, that's not the guy's name, but Jason's mom brought over a tin of biscuits. We're having a good time. Something like that. And the the newscaster's looking at him like, "You live in your parents' basement, don't you?" Because that's not a popular thing. If you're looking for a guy and he lives in his parents' basement, it's just not popular to be happy about that. Anyway, I'm like, okay, so like, you look more into it than that. You find out if he's got a job and if there's like a reason why he's living in his parents' basement. Like maybe he just lost his house because of a fire or something like that. You gotta look more into it. But the point is that Abigail sounded more like that guy, and I'm like, okay, I'm uh, but that wasn't bugging me that much. You know, it it kind of sounded like a. I mean, it sounded like that guy if he was sounding more girly. Uh, I mean, not girly. Like if he was gay. It sounded like that. She did not sound girly at all. She sounded like a guy, but anyway, but that's not the reason why I couldn't deal with that voice. That voice couldn't say a whole lot of words, and she was just driving me crazy. And and it was weird because I would use that voice, and I was using that voice as my narrator, and all of a sudden, um, you know how like the stereotypical thought on Canadians is like they always say yuck 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 a. She'd start saying stuff like a like that, and there's no a there. You know, and it's like I can't deal with this. You're not. No, that's still good. Okay, that's better. Anyway, you're not gonna be adding words to the thing. So I switched over to this other narrator. All of a sudden, no problems. I mean, there was like a week in there where all of a sudden, maybe it wasn't a whole week, but it might have been a few days. Let's see if we're putting it up here helps. Okay. Anyway, it might have been a few days, but anyway, didn't matter which voice it was, they were adding extra words that weren't there, and I was getting frustrated. But it turned out if you go and take the punctuation off, it like didn't say it all, all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, fine. I wasn't happy about it, but fine. We'll just take the punctuation off. It'll be fine. And then, and it hasn't done it in a really long time, and I hope it never does it ever again because that was so frustrating. And it wasn't always actual words either. Like I don't know what the sentence was, but Sean was saying something, and then all of a sudden it was like Belloc. I think Belloc is actually a something from something. I don't know what, but it was like all of a sudden, this weird word, and I'm like, what is that even? What even is that? So anyway, but it isn't doing it anymore. So I'm either getting dang lucky or they fix the issue. Thank God. And not a big deal. But I do always listen to it before uh, before I go and put it into the music folder because you never know if like all of a sudden it's gonna decide that it needs to put that extra word in. It's kind of like in the Bible, like um, it'll have the sentence and then it'll say Selah. Some people say Selah, but it's Selah. It's kind of like that, except for that instead of being on purpose, like in the Bible, you know, it's just reading stuff that isn't there. And it was making me mad. But like I said, it's not doing it anymore, so I've been really happy, but you never know if it's going to say it that way or not. And I listen to it, just in case there's something in there that I don't like the way it sounds. Because the way I wrote the book, the way that I wrote the chapter I'm working on, it just says that they came in. I mean, okay, so it says that Jake is sitting there at the end of the table with his back to the stairs. So, opposite side that Morgan usually sits. And then it says that Morgan came down and sat on his left. So, you assume the chair at the table. But it just says that that she sat down on his left. And then it says that Sean sat down on his right. So technically, with that wording, you assume that they're sitting in chairs too.